WhiskyJason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American over here in Germany. I have a travel retail exclusive, Jack Daniel's American Single Malt. Now, you in America, you received the Jack Daniel's twice-barreled American Single Malt last fall of 2022. This just arrived in Europe at travel retail, August 2023. Different bottle size. Look, this is like the old travel retail bottle Nabon Jack Daniel's, 1 liter. I paid €95.90 for this. All right, so you in America got this type of bottle, and it said double barreled, or twice barreled, I'm sorry, on it. This is the single barrel proof, yummy. Over here, we always get 64.5%. Interesting that all the barrels are always 64.5. How do they do? Is magic? All right, good. Going to something else over here. This is, and it does say here, American Single Malt. It does say on the side here, every drop made in Tennessee. We have a nice cork. It's actually real cork. I put blue for blue. I don't know if that was the best decision here, but that's the way it is. And 1 liter bottle. So this and a 0.7 liter bottle would be about €70. So in America, you do know that your whiskey, the twice-barreled American Single Malt, had over 2 years of finishing time. We have no information whatsoever here. We do have the information on the side here that does say, this is a new take on timeless single malt tradition. Charcoal mellowed the Tennessee way. Okay, Lincoln County process, interesting. Aged in handcrafted, newly charred oak barrels. Okay, very good. So that leaves a little bit of room for interpretation. Newly charred oak barrels. Is that new charred oak barrels? No, newly. So it might be recharred barrels. All right, then finished in the very finest Oloroso-Sherry casks. The twice-barreled Jack Daniel's that was released last fall in the U.S. A normal barrel in America is 200 liters, so 53 gallons. A normal butt is 500 liters, 230 something gallons. So about 2.5 times the size. And they didn't fit in the rick houses. So what they did is they palletized them. They just put sherry barrels, 4, I think, is what you can do, maybe only 3, and they could stack them, 7 high, which is amazing. All right, now I have tried this in my German video against the Yellowstone American Single Malt release. This is 54% ABV. This is made in Indiana, MGP. So it says distilled and aged in Indiana, bottled by Limestone Branch Distillery in Lebanon, Kentucky. I don't think anyone over here in Europe has ever had a real Yellowstone product made at the Yellowstone Distillery and then shipped to Germany, bottled in Kentucky and shipped to Germany. Everything I've ever had from Yellowstone has always been sourced. I also tried a comparison here to Westward. American Single Malt from Oregon, Pinot Noir casks. Way too much dark malt in here. A lot of mocha and chocolate and coffee, which I did not like. Other people really might like this. Wasn't the thing for me. So I decided, hey, if I'm going to pay 70 plus euros for a 0.7 or 95 euros for a 1 liter bottle, I'm going to do this. I'm going to go for my benchmark in the world for sherried single malt whiskeys. GlenDronach 12. Now, I know a lot of people are still out there whining and complaining and so on and saying, oh, the old ones were so much better. I do have an old one here, non-chilled filtered, natural colored, so I'm comparing that. If I look at the stamp on this, it's going to say here I have a 2020 bottle. Okay, so I'm just going to put this in here. To be very, very honest, I used to be able to get this for 35 euros. So I bought this bottle here for 35 euros. So I can get literally 2 of these for 1 of these if it was bottled at 0.7 liters. All right, so I can almost get 3 of these for the price I get for the 1 liter here. All right, so just the value for money proposition, this is going to definitely win. Now the taste can an American single malt even somehow get close to a standard product from Scotland? And to me, Glenfarclas. I looked at Glenfarclas, but I don't have the 15-year-old here. I did want something with 43, 45%. And so this is a standard product for me. This is the benchmark where I go, okay, anything above that's worth buying, anything below that's probably not. So all right, this is exactly where I want to be. Can an American product, an American single malt, even get close to a benchmark, a standard in Scotland? All right, on the nose, I really like this nose. This nose is intriguingly fascinating and confusing because I get the Jack Daniels moment. Most people in America go, banana. My grandfather used to have those marshmallow peanuts, but he had the pink and the orange ones, and they weren't banana. So that's a little bit of marshmallow peanut type of moment going on here. I get the berries. I get a little bit of a wood in the moment. I get a very, very nice thing that's confusing because it's like, wait a second. I always thought that standard smell of Jack Daniels came from their mash bill, 80% corn. Maybe maybe the yeast. Maybe they're using the same yeast. And maybe the Lincoln County process. So could it be that the ingredients, the mash bill, the 100% barley, American barley, by the way, actually is not as important as the corn or as the rye? If we go to the Jack Daniels rye here, which I don't have I do have it within reach. Of course I do. Too many bottles here. So this is one of my favorite bottles, by the way. I really do like that rye a lot. All right, so we did have the new Jack Daniels bonded 700 milliliters. Americans are complaining because they're used to 750. 750s are still illegal in Europe, so therefore we need the 700. 700 milliliters are now allowed in America, so international companies will be using 700 milliliters more and more. And also on top of that, I had that triple malt. And that was also something which was very interesting, that they put the rye, the bourbon, and the malt together. All right. This is a beautiful, beautiful nose. Love that. This has more alcohol, more caramel, more wood. And this has more dark chocolate and a little bit of even mocha. Okay, dark chocolate moment. Probably European oak in there as well. Okay, let's try it. Can the Jack Daniels American Single Malt hold its own against Glendronach 12? Mm-hmm. I truly like this. It's interesting. It builds up. So it's like, okay. Oh, I get a little bit of alcohol. I get more of the fruit. I get a little bit of the wood. I get a little bit more of the alcohol. I get the fruit, and it just, very, very nice. I love it when whiskeys go, oh, this is good, this is good, this is even better. Oh, now it's really improving. I hate it when a whiskey goes, that's nice, and then, oh, bleh. Very, very, very interesting. A little bit of cherries, a little bit of raspberries, a lot of currant, a little bit of strawberries. Very reddy, very fruity, very forest fruits. Very nicely done. I read on one site here about the Jack Daniels twice barreled special release American single malt. They bought like 330 sherry first fill Oloroso sherry butts, and they cost over $1,000 each. That's a normal price. We're paying that over here as well. Doesn't matter if you buy one or 330. And that's always the question here. Are they reusing the Oloroso? Are they rejuvenating the cask themselves? This is not the perfect Oloroso sherry moment that I know from Spanish whiskeys, Spanish sherries, and finished Oloroso. It has more of a fruitier note and less of an herbal note going on. Very fruit forward. I'm not complaining. It's just not typical Oloroso sherry. Over here, the darker. Interesting enough, the 43% has a better mouthfeel. This feels a little thinner, Lincoln County Process. And this also goes, it has that dark chocolate, that European oak, that tannin, almost like a Russell Stover type of cherry chocolate moment going on here. Very, very, very nice. Which one do I prefer? This one. Is this close? Is this almost an alternative? Is this something where I would go, can almost go par to par? Almost. This would win every single time, blind and so on. It's just a better body, a better flavor, a better feeling, a better finish, just a better whiskey, better value for money. But, and this is the big but, I think Jack Daniel's, I'm gonna call it, it's not a home run, but it's a double or triple. And for the first time at the bat, basically, for me as a European consumer to come and give us this bottle and say, here, try that. And it's like, that's pretty darn good. Well done. I mean, I must admit, they understand what's going on. All right, so tiny, tiny little factor here that I did not like. It does say here the Chris Fletcher is the master distiller. He did not distill this. He hasn't been there long enough to distill this. He might have picked the barrels to go into that batch, but I always hate it when distilleries change their master distiller, and just same thing with Rachel Berry. I mean, her signature's on this bottle as well, I think. Let's see here. Do I have her? I'm gonna look at the tin here. Yep, Rachel Berry. Rachel Berry didn't make this either. And by the way, almost everything Billy Walker bottled himself, he never distilled it either. He had bought the stock from Pernod Ricard, finished it, and made it into his own whiskey, but he did not distill it. And so I'm being very, very picky about this. Billy Walker, or here in this case, Rachel Berry, did not make this whiskey. They bottled it, and the same thing here. They bottled it, and they did a darn good job of it as well. I'm going to give this a B minus C plus for taste. Well done, well done. This American single malt beats more than, I'm going to say, 60% of all the single malts from Scotland I've ever had in my glass. That's wow. Value for money, though, for 95 euros for a 1 liter bottle, I'm going to give it a C minus D plus. More of a D plus than a C minus. A, why haven't you bought it? B, buy it. I just said buy it. C minus. C, you can if you do. D, you don't need it. So this is one of the bottles where it's like, oh, taste is good, but the value is crappy. And so the question is, how deep are your pockets? How much do you want to try it? This is definitely a try before you buy, before you pay that much money for this. But this is good stuff. I'm enjoying this. I put some water in it in my German video, just softened it a little bit. It didn't change it in any way, just a little bit of dampening of the flavors. Well done, Jack Daniel's. Very, very nicely done. So my question is, what is your favorite American single malt? So I'm going to get rid of the Glendronach real quick. I'll put up here the Westward. I'm going to have to say Balcones single malt, especially in the rum cask, matured once a year at least. It tries to hit the German, the European coastlines with their cask strength version. Oh, that stuff is really good. But I'm sure you've tried other single malts from America that have blown your socks off as well. It's a big upcoming category. Let's see what we have. And they can use newly charred, maybe even newly recharred barrels. Thank you very much for watching, liking, subscribing, telling others. Whiskey Jason here. Bye-bye.